And trying to get them started here as Flowers gives up the opening tip to Stefan Ayungma. The officials are Paul Faya, Matt Levine, and Michael Lang Fleury.
Little 2-3 zone here from LIU out of the gate.
They don't do it very often. It's Ayungma with the turnaround, and he drops it in.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing how the Central Connecticut bigs play. Ayungma and also a guy off the bench, Carrington Wallace. If they can get it going down low early on, that is obviously going to pay big dividends for them.
Wallace, another Philly boy, went to Archbishop Wood, won a city championship before going to Central.
Blue Devils in, as Raff would say, man-to-man.
And Batch trying to make something of it, and that's a nice way to start for Julian Batts, who had totaled just 12 points in his last 3. 99th career start for the Pittsburgh native. And a palming call on Zach Newkirk. We don't see too many of those.
No, we don't. And going back to that last bucket from Batts, that's his dominant hand, the left. So Central Connecticut has to, if they don't know that already, pick up on that quickly because he's so good at driving that way and showed great touch on that floater.
So LIU playing a zone on defense, countering the man. It's Agosto. And Batts and Agosto attacking the rim, something that we haven't seen a whole lot of, something that we talked about. We'd like to see a lot more of it.
Yeah, we literally just said it as Cotton starting to play some aggressive defense. I said you get Julian and Jay-Sean to score early on for this team. That takes the pressure off Raekwon and Ty Flowers, who are the 2 biggest scorers on this roster.
Vershawn Cotton has been losing playing time to Jermaine Jackson. Cotton hasn't played more than 20 minutes in 4 of his last 5. Once again, it's Ayungma.
With contact, too. They could have called that a foul as well. Good hard finish.
Ayungma, born in Cameroon, but went to high school and community college in Mississippi. Again, Daniel Marshall coaching the 4th least experienced team in the country in terms of D1 experience. Cotton off the mark, and Jamir Coleman to the rebound.
Good closeout that time. I believe it was Christian who got a hand in his face. Blue Devils know how talented and how lethal this LIU team can be from deep, so they've got to put a stop to that.
Coleman, one of 2 seniors on the roster, along with Daniel's son, Daniel Jr. Ayungma keeps it, lobs it. And Coleman beats the buzzer. So the Blue Devils start a perfect 3 for 3.
Not a bad defensive possession there from LIU. Coleman basically realized there was 2 seconds left, but that was a sweet fadeaway. Nothing you can really do there.
LIU looking to roll off those outside picks. Mid-range from Raekwon, he forced it.
Yeah, those are the kind of shots LIU does not want. Individual, it was a bad call there for the ISO. That was a forced shot.
LIU's allowed at least 69 points in every game during this 5-9 start. Newkirk to the cup. Blue Devils 4 for 4.
This is the start you need for a team that is desperate for a win. You mentioned, Greg, only 1 win this year. It was against a non-D1 opponent.
Clark, opposite side. That time he sinks it.
Much better there.
Raekwon Clark coming off his 36th career game with at least 20 points. He played all 50 minutes against Mount St. Mary's, 25 points and 9 rebounds.
I'm guessing he was probably thankful that was a Saturday game with the Thursday then turnaround rather than a quick 2-day turnaround.
Cotton aggressive on it, poked in. It's a 2-on-1. The Sharks can get fancy. Flowers goes in hot, and we're tied at 8.
They can get fancy, but that was a good move from Ty there, being aggressive, and then the flush at the end.
So the Sharks spreading it out. 4 of the 5 starters on the board. Pretty good look. And the first miss belongs to Zach Newkirk. Flowers to Batts with lots of room. Julian Batts has 5.
Utilizing the skip pass, Greg, so important in an offense that likes to move quickly. That time LIU found the hole in the Central Connecticut defense. Good catch and shoot from Batts.
A nice start here at home.
LIU in man defense now.
Now it's Reed with the pull. And Jamir Reed Shooting just 31% from three, answers.
A little bit of a hesitation there in Cotton. Reed made him pay.
Reed is the NEC's only freshman, ranking up amongst the top 30 in minutes per game. Flowers, quick release, and like many of his shots that we've seen, it did not come off the hand. Pretty gets beat at the other end, and Ayungma controls.
LIU, I don't know if it's too much to say, might need a little bit of a wake-up call here, Greg. This Blue Devils team has come to play.
And the Blue Devils, like most of the Sharks' opponents, have a deeper bench. Daniel Marshall getting ready to sub in three players. Clark draws the foul. Youngman helped off the deck. He's called for the Blue Devils first. And with 5:11 gone by, we get our first timeout. Both teams start hot. It's the Blue Devils by 2. As you pointed out to me, they split their first 2 conference games, winning the opener last Thursday at Sacred Heart, a building that, like many home buildings in the NEC, isn't tough to win inside as a visitor, but Merrimack's done it. And so you can't really sleep on anybody right now. The Blue Devils projected to finish 10th out of 11. Merrimack dead last in its first year in the NEC. Everybody looking up at the preseason number 1, the 5-9 LIU Sharks.
And they put a lot of people on notice, Greg. Merrimack did with that early season win at Northwestern. I mean, talk about getting a win over a Big Ten team in your first couple of games as a D1 team. I mean, that did a lot for them to set that tone. And really exciting, kind of under the radar game tonight between them and Mount St. Mary's. I'm very intrigued to see how that one plays out.
Mountaineers feeling good after that win Saturday. Youngma from the outside, and he's got it all working. He's up to 8 points, and he has not missed.
This young man's feeling himself, Greg. For somebody that scored just one lone point on Saturday against St. Francis, he made sure that wasn't going to happen again tonight.
Clark evades the double team. That's a great look from Cotton.
Talk about a skip pass. That was a skip pass and then some. A little English on that from Cotton, and wow.
He chucked it like a discus, and that's something that the Blue Devils need to watch, because in both losses last week, they surrendered 14 threes against Robert Morris and St. Francis U. That was off the mark from Xavier Wilson. His first shot, no go. The lob, there's the flash. Flowers to Clark.
Saw that one coming from a mile away, and I'm sure Derek Kellogg let his team know he wasn't happy with their defense in the first couple of minutes. Energy looks a lot better here from the Sharks.
Tyler Rowe, another senior on this team, in the ballgame now for the Blue Devils. That's poked in, and there's Ian Krishnan for his first shift of the night.
Yeah, keep an eye on Krishnan all night, obviously the most talented scorer on this team.
Miles Baker, that's an air ball, but Agosto was unable to control.
He got caught in the in-between. He didn't know if he should just catch it and keep going or let it go, and then got caught last second, but again, didn't hit the rim, so only 6 here for the Blue Devils to get a shot off.
Miles Baker, a freshman from Chicago, third on the Blue Devils with more than 9 points per game. And he's coming off 3 straight in double figures. His point total's gone up in each of the last 3 games. 15 against the Red Flash. Rowe beats the shot clock. And both teams are red hot from the floor.
It's a Central team that's averaging just 39% from the field, so this is easily the best start they've gotten off to all year.
They're 8 of 11, the Sharks 7 of 10. And Agosto looking to knife through. Bounces back to Jackson, his first touch off the bench. Jermaine with 14 in the loss Saturday. Finds Batts for a long one. And the rebound's uncontested for Coleman. Tyler Rowe from East Hartford. Missed the first 12 games. Transferred from both Connecticut College and Western Connecticut State. Good defense from Flowers. And Batts is there to lead Jackson.
Keep an eye on that matchup all night long on that other side of the court, Greg. Jermaine Jackson right now matched up with Krishnan.
Flowers with a line drive. And Ty Flowers looks a lot better than he did the last time LIU played a home game against the D1 team.
Yeah, we talked about him really struggling to shoot the ball, but it's been a lot different since.
The adjustment inside nearly went down. That was Baker. And here come the Sharks looking to break. That's a little too fancy. Got caught up in between Flowers and Agosto. But the Sharks take a 4-point lead as we arrive at the second media timeout. LIU 21, Central 17.
Fiero to the belt and delivers. Clean by Braxton is good at the buzzer. Would you believe it? Allegro jumps inside. Eddie, another shot. She scores.
The Sharks open up the ball game by shooting close to 67%, with Ty Flowers leading the way with 8. Stephi Youngma with 8 for the Blue Devils. And the Sharks using every bit of the media timeout, with Jack Ballantyne entering, giving Raekwon Clark a breather, something that Pat and I talked about, much needed after playing all 50 minutes in that double overtime loss on Saturday.
Mentioned Merrimack and Mount St. Mary's. Another good one to keep an eye on tonight, Greg. Robert Morrison, St. Francis.
Timeout. With Jack Ballantyne entering, giving Raekwon Clark a breather, something that Pat and I talked about, much needed after playing all 50 minutes in that double overtime loss on Saturday.
Mentioned Merrimack and Mount St. Mary's. Another good one to keep an eye on tonight, Greg. Robert Morrison, St. Francis, Brooklyn in Pittsburgh.
Baker lost it. And it's a foul on Xavier Wilson. He got knocked by Ballantyne, and that's a possession that the Blue Devils were lucky not only to get in, but to finish.
And by the way, Greg, I'm going to say, I'm going to put it at the 8-minute mark in the first half is when we see Derek Kellogg's suit jacket come off.
I like that bet. Pat's getting better at handicapping as the season goes on. And the first one's good for Xavier Wilson from Spring Valley, New York. Won a Catholic High School League championship at Archbishop Stepinac. And is coming off one of his best games on Saturday against the Red Flash. 7 points, 4 rebounds. Flowers will take it himself. And why not? Ty coming off his 6th double-double against the Mountaineers. That patented underhand from Jackson to Ballantyne. The Sharks still have plenty of time. Agosto dumped it. Jackson lines it up. And that is very encouraging for Jermaine Jackson. Since the Army game, he was shooting under 15% from downtown.
Yeah, nice job for him to get going early. A lot of things I like seeing LIU doing early on. They're getting their bigs involved out past the perimeter, setting picks. That opens up the wings, and that's what happened right there on that last possession.
That's a travel on Jamir Reed. He dragged his foot.
You know, when we take a look, you mentioned the Central Connecticut deficiencies. One of the most glaring ones is they allow their opponents to shoot 48% from the field. You know, again, that's not just lazy defense. We mentioned they're scrappy, but it's a team that can tend to get out of system if you move the ball well. So they're easy to break down on defense. LIU just has to keep passing the ball well.
Cotton back in, goes to Flowers, and that nearly went. Eventually, Coleman took it away from Ballantyne. And there's just a sloppy possession. Surprising to see Jamir Coleman throw it away.
And here's a stretch of the ball game, Greg. Now we've seen the early adrenaline and the early great shooting from Central Connecticut now wearing down. You know, this is where this team has fallen into big holes in this season so far. They need something to get them right back in this.
And yet they're only separated by 6.
Yeah, I'm talking as if it's a 12-point, 15-point deficit. But we've seen it go just like that in a blink of an eye with this team this year.
Blue Devils now in a zone of their own. Sharks patient with it. Agosto trying to follow. And Coleman's got another rebound. Got away with that pass. And Baker slows it down. Flowers on Baker. How about this?
He's clapping his hands.
Coleman beats Ballantyne.
I would have liked to see Jackson help there underneath the bucket. Kind of got stuck in between, and Ballantyne got beat. But yeah, you mentioned, spot on, Greg. LIU staying patient. 2-3 zone is the ultimate test of patience.
Everyone's touching it. Vershawn Cotton. Whoop-de-doo.
Showing that athleticism yet again. He is such a great athlete.
Breakdown on the outside, and the Blue Devils make them pay with Jamir Reed.
He's hit a couple of big ones here early.
Flowers hanging around. And there's the timeout from Daniel Marshall. He is telling his players to get back and play defense because Ty Flowers has torched them for 10. A 30-second timeout from Daniel Marshall, who does not have a winning record against any of the other teams in the NEC, and that's just another careless giveaway. Miles Baker throwing it away.
You're right, it's careless, Greg, and you know that's one of the quickest things you learn at this level is every possession, every pass counts. It's a full 40 minutes of mental stability, and Central Connecticut, they've just been absent sometimes.
Clark, the trigger man, fights his way for 2. And the Sharks are just staying aggressive. 12 for their first 18.
And Raekwon Clark, quietly, in my opinion, has gotten to 8 points here already. Yeah. It's the product, though, of balanced offense.
Ballantyne gets over that time with Jackson providing help. And the Blue Devils, because of all these young players, 7 freshmen, 4 sophomores, they don't have that established entity like Tyler Cole, who last year was a second-team all-conference selection. He and Ian Krishnan were the only postseason honorees. Krishnan, of course, being named to the all-rookie team. That's a nice spot up. Jamir Coleman.
I mean, he showed he can score early on in the year when he had 27 in a loss at UMass Lowell, so got to keep tabs on him. Blue Devils still trying out this zone.
Agosto dangerous. Clark whipped around. Falls to the floor. Eventually, it's knocked away. And somehow Raekwon, with all those blue jerseys, the last one to touch it.
It's like greased potato down there. Nobody could get a hold on it.
Bats back in for Agosto. This might be the only time I recall seeing Jackson and Cotton on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, it's an interesting rotation here from Derek Kellogg.
And now the Sharks need to get back.
We haven't seen him shy away from going a lot of offensive players on the court at once.
Zach Newkirk back in. He just dumped it off. Youngma, after that hot start, knocks down Clark, and he's got 10.
I like that. Good no call there from the refs.
Yeah. Could have gone either way, I think. Ballantyne to Cotton. And the rebound came out for Newkirk.
Good movement, but, I mean, he was out there past the NBA line.
Coleman, very short. And Bats got to the rebound for the Sharks. Oh, not a good pass from Jackson. 3-on-2 developing. Nice job by Central finding Newkirk.
That time Jackson's eyes told the story, and great job Newkirk to pick it right out of the air.
For two teams that turn it over quite a bit, they've combined on only 8. Sharks need to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, they're settling right now.
Maybe that's why they haven't played Jackson and Cotton together that much. Reed can't get it.
Good board there from Ballantyne. He knows he's in there primarily to grab rebounds.
He can shoot it. Another long one. And Bats gets the roll.
And for those perfectionists right there, that's the product of that backspin, the flick of that wrist. It bounces, but since that ball's spinning so much, it just drops gently into the hoop.
Bats with 8. A big reason why the Sharks continue to lead. Speaking of backspin, Stefan Ayungma stepping out. And he is still a perfect 6 for 6 from the field.
Yeah, both teams just need to do a better job of closing out. Too many open shots on both ends.
LIU's allowed 69 points or more in every game. Ballantyne. One more chance. It's Jackson. You bet. The two of them have that weird connection. Going back to their Detroit Mercy days, that was when Jermaine 2 years ago made the Horizon League All-Freshman team. It always seems like they find one another. Jermaine needs to watch his feet, especially now that he's guarding Jamir Reed. Coleman on Clark. Coming up on 5 to shoot. Jackson. The officials letting them play, and that just got a piece of the rim.
Just like to quickly point out, Greg, we've already got 68 points in this game. That's more than 2 other games going on in the conference combined right now. A lot of offense.
It's been well played. And they wave off the pass as Clark took some contact. The foul goes on Ayungma. And the officials doing their part as well, keeping the action going and getting us to the 4:47. Have won 3 straight get-togethers. The last Central win was January 20th, 2018, so nearly 2 full years ago. But they've kept up with the Sharks. Both teams still shooting up above 60%. Krishnan back in. And Bats unable to get into double digits. Oh, man, that's a ticky-tack foul on Vershawn Cotton. He was hustling back to get to Newkirk.
Yeah, I think sometimes the officials, they see some reaching in, and they're quick to call it the first thing they think they see. I don't think there was any contact there.
You could almost hear the groans from the LIU sideline. But all in all, teams have been careful keeping the basketball. Nobody in foul trouble just yet. That nearly went.
That was good hesitation, just not the finish.
Wilson working with Baker. Now Jackson, awkward on the release.
LIU still forcing it.
Yeah.
And even though they have made 6 threes, they've missed 9 of them. A lot of them, all those misses, really just ones that, kind of just settled for early on in the possession.
Flowers guarding Wilson. They look identical with their hairstyles. The turnaround goes, and Jamir Coleman's having himself a half.
Yes, he is. He's showing off a bunch of post move. He's scoring mid-range, full arsenal.
And he's got 6 of the Blue Devils' 11 rebounds. Blue Devils baiting the Sharks into shooting threes, and Bats hits another one.
It's not the worst game plan in the world, Greg. That's if this team isn't shooting well, but right now they're shooting pretty darn well.
Baker, the underhand, what a find, and Wilson goes in for 2.
And that was a man's jam there from the freshman. Get up and throw it down, young fella.
Xavier Wilson chipping in. And now both teams have a big bang in this first half. Flowers, nothing but net.
Derek Kellogg is living. I think it's living in a good way. I think he just wants his team to get jacked up.
He's trying to motivate the bench.
They need some stops.
Man, Agosto went flying into the sideline. Fortunately, Rowe missed the jumper. And Clark got a hand on. It looked like Krishnan with 2:27 to go.
That's why Derek Kellogg's such a good coach. He leads by example. You could see him jumping up and down. He wants this bench going. He wants this team to go on a run.
I have not seen him this. The rebounds right now in this one are even at 11-11. That was the case for the Sharks in Emmetsburg. The teams were even at 44.
You mentioned, Central Connecticut find themselves at the bottom of a lot of statistical categories. Rebounding, yet another one. They're getting out-rebounded by an average of 10 per game. So whether it be them attacking the glass or LIU shooting a lot of threes, you mentioned 11 apiece so far.
Jamir Coleman on the floor right now, their biggest player of the five right now at 6'7", 215. Xavier Wilson 6'7", 210, but they don't look that big compared to some of the other teams that we've seen.
Yeah, they find themselves undersized a lot, and that's a big reason why they get out-rebounded so badly.
And it helps with the defensive pairings for both Clark and Flowers. Jackson bodying this time. Rowe kicks, and Bats got the rejection. Blue Devils get it back, and Jackson takes it away. Flowers controls, steps into a triple, no. Krishnan had it knocked, and it finds Xavier Wilson.
A lot going on right there, Greg, but that last defensive possession for LIU before that quick shot, it was great zone defense, and if they can cover the areas of the floor like that, they should have a lot easier time preventing Central Connecticut from scoring.
LIU a lot more composed in the half court. Jackson sells it and then throws it away. He and Bats were not synced up. Everything went right up until he left his feet, and that's happened to Jermaine not just on offense but on defense as well.
Yeah, it looked like he had three decisions kind of just scanning through his brain at 100 miles a minute, and then at the last second he realized the only move he had was to try to go out the Bats. The only problem was Julian already vacated his post.
Dangerous fade pass, but Baker was there. Last touch by LIU.
A nice feed right there. Good touch. Looking like a quarterback going over the top.
Miles Baker, we told you he's from Chicago. Illinois Prep Hoop ranked him as a top 10 prospect in the state. And he was the number 2 shooting guard in last year's class. Clark going in hard. And he clobbers Coleman with under a minute to go.
Again, I've been impressed with the post presence from Jamir Coleman. That time he felt Clark on his right hip, and he just spun right back to his left. He was able to beat him to the bucket, and he's got 2 free throws because of it.
First foul on Clark, number 4 against the Sharks. Coleman out there with 3 fouls. Or beg your pardon. He has 3 turnovers.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, Greg. He fouled out back on Saturday against St. Francis in just 10 minutes on the court. Very frustrating day to say the least. And a big reason why the Flash were able to pull away so quickly in that game.
Coleman averaged over 12 points and 6 rebounds per game as a junior last year. Had 5 double-doubles during the season, including 1 here. So the Sharks have seen him plenty. That was knocked away from Flowers, and Clark was there to scoop it. The Sharks have 3 in double figures. Bats with 11, Clark with 12, and Flowers with 13. Rose steps into it. That's a deuce, and it goes down.
Well, you can hold here for the final shot, which they probably intend on doing. Greg, what do you think? They shoot a three here?
I'd put good money on that. 17 of their first 29 shots have come from long range.
Tell you what, though, Derek Kellogg's jacket's still on. Surprised they made it to the half.
So Pat lost one bet. Can he win the second? There's Clark, then to three. No. One last chance. Comes up short from Jamir Reed. And we just saw a very entertaining 20 minutes between the Sharks and the Blue Devils. Both teams put up a lot of points.
Bradley, we haven't seen Ousmane Diem.
Yep.
We haven't seen Gunlandu Cisse, who came back to action for the first time this year on Saturday. So we'll see if, again, Derek Kellogg wants to ramp up that defensive pressure.
Ty Flowers and Stefan Ayungma led the way with 13 in the first half. Clark with 12 and Bats with 11. Cotton sneaks one to Bats. That's a great feed, but Bats couldn't find it.
Yeah, and Julian Bats has been the beneficiary of most of those open looks so far for LIU. Central Connecticut, for whatever reason, maybe not respecting his three-point shooting that much here tonight.
LIU started the game in a zone. Now they go to a man. Cotton got beat on the second effort by Jamir Reed. Cotton nearly had the takeaway on the bigger player, but the Blue Devils get to within two. LIU at one point led by 8.
Yeah, these first 5 minutes for the Blue Devils are obviously going to be huge for them.
Bats tried forcing it down low. Clark was there, goes up and gets fouled. That's going on Jamir Reed.
You mentioned, Greg, fourth most inexperienced team in the country according to KenPom, and the longer they hang around, the longer they're going to have that belief and confidence that they can pick up their signature win so far here in this season.
Clark is the only Shark that's been to the free throw line tonight so far, 4 for 4. They actually gave the foul to Stefan Ayungma, and that's going to loom large because he's going to come out with 3.
And he's been their go-to scorer so far. He hasn't missed a single shot, so that'll be interesting to see who now picks up the slack for them, because they're going to have to hang around. They're going to have to keep scoring and matching LIU's production.
Sharks are coming off their best free throw shooting performance on Saturday at the Mount. They went 19 for 23, and after starting 4 for 4, Clark misses them both.
And not enough legs there. I think that's pretty much it.
Bats with a nice takeaway on Coleman. Eyes up, scanning the floor, but sets up the offense. Cotton, the tough runner. Clark with the follow.
And left hand was trying to box out and gain position. Right hand was tipping it back in. That double?
We got doubles. 1. Raekwon Clark got 1. And Xavier Wilson got the other.
Yeah, I think that's who Raekwon Clark was using, that left hand to box out. A little friendly competition. Saw some good trash talk last night in the association with Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren. Yeah.
Not fit for broadcast. But Jimmy had some choice words. Ian Christian gets the free throws.
Now, LIU is going to, excuse me, Greg, LIU is going to have 2 after this, right? Because it's the double technical.
I believe.
Yeah, they should now flip ends. No, maybe not. I thought that was a double technical, was it not?
I thought they gave one to Xavier Wilson of the Blue Devils, but
I'm seeing on our live stat
one
feed.
For Clark.
Okay, then.
So the Blue Devils can take the lead with a 3. Christian set the screen. They go down low. Wilson to the outside. And Christian jammed underneath by Flowers. Ian Christian can get going. Even though the red flash held him to just 7 points on Saturday, he opened the year with back-to-back efforts of at least 20 points against Connecticut College and Robert Morris. And last year as a freshman, averaged 34 minutes per game and scored 12 points per game, making 30 starts on the way to the NEC All-Rookie team.
And a lot of his points come from the free throw line. He's already averaging more than 4 free throws per game in the 3 games since he returned. So this you're seeing him at one of his purest.
Bats and Cotton switch spots. The technical on Raekwon Clark, just his second foul. But we are tied at 48. I'd say after the way they folded at home against the Red Flash and the Colonials, the Blue Devils have to be very pleased with where they are.
Yeah, certainly.
Flowers cutting, give and go, bats, yes. And this is what the Sharks are going to need. We've established the fact that you're generally going to get Clark and Flowers to lead the way in scoring. Bats needs to become their third option.
And he's taking on that role tonight. We saw it a couple times last year.
Got pushed down, that's coming back. It was a soft one, but Jamir Reed used the left arm to pick up the offensive foul.
And that senior leadership, that acting degree that he probably could bid for at LIU, looking like it's best there on that one. Just a little bump, but he sold it.
It wouldn't be a Sharks game if Julian Batts didn't fall down viciously at least once. They keep it on the outside. Julian feeling it. Oh, yeah.
And that was with a good closeout, Greg. He's heating up big time.
17 for Batts on back-to-back triples. Just like Pat said in the first half, the Blue Devils can have it reverse on them very quickly.
Got to stay composed. This is where that freshman roster is going to get tested.
Reed falling away. Jamir Reed with Batts getting the hand on him late.
The freshman making a big bucket.
They keep running the offense through the perimeter. Cotton sets. And pushed it off to the right. Eventually Reed got to the rebound. Zach Newkirk's been quiet in this one. He's in the top corner. Coleman snuck it through, but Wilson wasn't ready. Cotton beats the defender. Coleman was going for the rejection off the glass, but Vershawn Cotton answers back with one.
Yeah, those on-man rush, if you will, don't always look as easy as they are. And that one certainly was not easy at all. That was a good take by Cotton. He went strong to the bucket.
The first 4 minutes of the second have been intense. Coleman banks it.
That was not a pretty release, but it counts, Greg.
Media timeout coming up. And Agosto jamming on the brakes. 10 to shoot for LIU. Cotton waits. Flowers kicks. And gets it back. Ty Flowers a little short.
Great box out again that time by Coleman. He has been banging down low with Raekwon Clark.
Each coach getting ready to send in a sub. Wilson, yes. That was good defense from Ty Flowers, but Wilson touched it in.
Yeah, they are taking it to LIU down low right now. They're winning the battle in the paint.
Blue Devils have made 6 of their last 7 shots. Agosto cuts into it. A big bucket for Jayshon Agosto.
Hasn't scored that much this year, Greg, but when they need a big shot, he's still one of the best candidates.
Needs to watch the hands as he guards Newkirk. Newkirk dribbled it off his foot. And the Sharks get it back after the media timeout. Blue Devils are not going away. It's a 3-point game here in Brooklyn. As the game goes on, I think that they've been on it in this game because there really haven't been a whole lot of fouls.
Yeah, it's been that kind of game. You know, a lot of fast pace, a lot of shooting, not a lot of physical play down low. So I'll give them credit. They've allowed the flow of this game to continue.
Clark. And the Blue Devils were lucky because Clark made a good move to wrap around down the left side of the lane. Given all the Sharks' outside shooting, you would think the Blue Devils might switch into a 3-2 zone, but they stay in the 2-3. Jackson back in. Just looking for the open man. It's Clark fighting his way to the rack.
Great take. That's what you want to see from the NEC's leading scorer, that aggression. He was going to the bucket no matter what.
That's his second bucket in the half. But as Pat said late in the first, can the Sharks get the stops they need? Jackson staying hard on Krishnan. Krishnan forced it.
They had the mismatch on the switch.
Blue Devils running out of time, and Clark got the takeaway. Agosto drops it. Clark with a big collision. He and Wilson come together again.
This is where you see Raekwon Clark have that gene where he can take over games.
And unlike the St. Peter's game when he didn't have any help, he has it tonight.
Exactly, and that is why, you know, he's that much more dangerous when you have to be wary of those three-point shooters on the outside. Can't forget, you've got a 6'6" dump truck coming right down the middle.
17 points with one more foul shot coming for Raekwon. The duo for the Blue Devils is Ayungma and Rowe. Stefan Ayungma looking to score for the first time since the break.
About to see Gunlandu Cisse as well, Greg, here. First time at home this year. At least I think we are. His warm-up is off, but he's sitting in Coach Kellogg's seat.
Derek's been standing most of the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it his, you know, it's his quote-unquote seat. Not that he really ever sits there at all.
The officials are taking their time here. Paul Faya making sure that the substitutions are in order. So Gunlandu's under the table as best he can. It'll be just his second appearance of the season. Jackson giving chase. He continues to hound Baker. Blue Devils running out of time once again. The Sharks defense really clamping down. Baker gets by, throws it. Wilson, nice finish. I've been impressed with Xavier Wilson.
At 6'7", he's got to play the 5 for the Blue Devils, but he is athletic enough to play other positions, and he showed that athleticism there. Great off-balance shot.
He's got 9 points. And Jackson's left open. Jermaine. Oh, Flowers nearly crushed it. Instead, the Blue Devils are on the move. And they had a good opportunity, but Baker couldn't convert.
That would have been huge.
Poked away to Flowers from the outside. Another miss.
He's still coming up short on a lot of those shots.
That's been his problem all year. Stays with Baker. Baker dragged his feet. And Ty Flowers giving that extra effort on defense tonight. Still shooting the ball very well. With 13 points. And there's the hand for Gunlandu Cisse. As Pat said, it's his first appearance here at home. The redshirt junior standing 6'9" out of Senegal. And he is the biggest player on the floor. Flowers able to combat a double team. The foul on Ayungma. And that is number 4. Ian Coleman tied for the team lead with 13 points, but Ayungma is going to sit.
And he offers, Gunlandu Cisse offers a good option off the bench when you need to give Raekwon a breather because he can clog up the paint. And when Raekwon's not in the game, LIU is probably not going to do a ton of getting the ball down low and trying to score. So he helps give you some space underneath the bucket.
All right, you ready for this name? Ola Muyiwa. Just checked in for the Blue Devils, number 24.
I think you nailed it.
A guy that doesn't play very often, but in right now with 4 fouls on Stefan Ayungma. Stefan from Cameroon, Ola from Nigeria, and he's got the rebound. I'm just going to call him Ola.
I don't blame you. Call him Ola squared.
Ola.
It's like bowl.
He and Cisse matched up, and another travel, this one on Jamir Coleman. It stops the clock with just under 12 minutes to go. It seems like the median separation's been 5 points. That's where we're at right now between the Sharks and the Blue Devils.
Connecticut's SID, Jeff Mead, said you guys nailed Ola's name.
Very nice of Jeff to check in, and again, out of respect, I nailed it the first time. I don't want to take a chance again, so we'll stick with Ola, who's still in there clogging the paint for the Blue Devils.
Chance here for LIU to start to break away. Meanwhile, Blue Devils have to clamp down on D here.
Jackson threw it away. Last touch by Central. Jermaine tried slipping one to Clark. 5 turnovers for the Sharks, 12 for the Blue Devils. And the Sharks have 7 more points off turnovers. There's room on the outside. Clark takes advantage, and that is an air ball from the normally reliable Raekwon Clark.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. It looked like he had plenty of legs. Might have just been an awkward release.
That was a Barclays center 3 from Raekwon. Ola taking charge, finds Rowe. Good D from Clark. In the middle, Ola, welcome to Brooklyn.
That was big man basketball right there.
That.
2 heavyweights going at it at the rim.
The freshman who went to the Patrick School in New Jersey. Sharks just biding their time. Cotton on the board again. Vershawn up to 7.
And it's simple. It looked simple. You know, just movement back and forth right there. And Central Connecticut kind of just forgot about it. Can't give this team any space from beyond the arc.
Half of LIU's field goals have come from 3. Clark stays on Coleman. And gets beat on the baseline. It just rimmed out.
That's a shame that didn't fall. That was a beautiful move.
3-on-3, Krishnan and Agosto. Coleman takes Clark again. Second time's a charm.
Oh, boy.
He might have gotten poked in the face. He was shaking it off as he ran back up the floor. But Jamir Coleman earned it. Got beat by Jackson. This has just been a fun game for 30 minutes.
Tell you what, Central Connecticut plays like this. They're going to win a good amount of games in this conference this year.
Agosto gets by. Cisse couldn't control. And Cisse getting a rare touch. Pass might have been a little bit outside his reach, but at 6'9", that was a pretty good feed from Jayshon Agosto.
And, Greg, I think, you know, people watching this game, the way that they've seen these 2 teams perform this year, you'd think LIU is just kind of going to break it open at any minute, but that has not been the case. This has been a gritty effort so far from Central Connecticut. They want to see out these final 9.5 minutes.
They played a really good game. They started the season 0-12. They've yet to beat a Division I opponent, but they've kept up with the Sharks all night. Wilson lobs high. Krishnan needs to rush. Check behind him and sinks the jumper.
These boys do not look like freshmen tonight. Obviously, Christian's not a freshman, but, I mean, their presence on the offensive end has been tremendous to see.
After those back-to-back threes from Bats, it looked like the Sharks would take over, but the Blue Devils have not wilted. Clark poked away. Central takes it back. Just the 7th turnover for LIU. The high screen. Cotton stays on row, lets him get by. This one for the tie, count it.
They have just knocked down shots all night, Greg. We have a basketball game here in Brooklyn.
We do. The Blue Devils come alive with 8:21 to go. 6 straight points for the Blue Devils. And they continue to make pretty much everything they get. They're over 64% in the ball game. 9 of 13 in the second half. Jackson out of the timeout. The three just hasn't been working for Jermaine. He is 2 for 6, but his misses really haven't been that close. Blue Devils looking for 8 straight points and the lead. It's Reed pulling up. And the Sharks got clogged up. Flowers can still dribble. That was off the foot of one of the Blue Devils players.
If I'm Derek Kellogg, I'm designing something to go to Raekwon here. You want your leading scorer to go right back to work.
There's been nothing on the inside. Everything LIU's generated has been on the perimeter. That'll continue here with Jermaine. He gets it back.
They're sticking with it. That time it waited all the way down to the final 5 seconds, but it paid off.
Zach Newkirk just went to the scorer's table for the Blue Devils. In the meantime, Tyler Rose done a really nice job at the point. Central's only attempted 11 threes, but they've made 5. Mid-range. And it was short from Wilson. Ola the board. He got it taken away by Flowers.
That's why a lot of coaches don't want the big men putting it on the floor.
Sharks hustling, Clark forcing. And now the Blue Devils look to return the favor. They got clogged again. Ola in the wrong spot. Krishnan. Rainbow! What a triple. Hold your breath and watch it go down. Ian Krishnan.
That was just out of the range that time of Cotton, whoever tried to block that shot. That was pretty.
Bats, even longer. Julian Batch just got teed up. He was either jawing with Krishnan or with the top of the Central Connecticut State bench. Bats takes full responsibility. It's the second technical in the half against LIU. The fans behind the scorer's table are livid.
And Greg, I don't want to be a stickler, and again, I don't mind some trash talk, but when you're getting teed up because of it, that's you're costing your team points.
It happened last year for Julian at the Barclays Center. I believe it was in the second half against Binghamton when he picked up a technical foul, and the Bearcats wound up taking that and running away with a last-second win. Hopefully that same fate doesn't repeat itself here in Brooklyn. With 6:11 to go, it's still a 3-point game. Sharks in front of the Blue Devils, 72-69. So the Blue Devils get 2 more free throws as Julian Batch joins Raekwon Clark with a technical foul in this second half. Krishnan so far 4 for 4. So the Blue Devils get 2 more free throws as Julian Batch joins Raekwon Clark with a technical foul in this second half. Krishnan so far 4 for 4.
Really quickly, Greg, meanwhile, Wagner did a great job on the road in the first half against St. Francis. They were up by 8, but 30-8 in the second half for the Red Flash. They're up by 14.
That's a tough one.
Merrimack and Mount St. Mary's have been neck and neck all game long. Same thing with FDU and Sacred Heart, both of them tied.
Only 4 fouls against Central, 3 against LIU. The technical on Julian was his first. He's up to 20 points. And now the Sharks bring pressure, trying to spook this young team. They get by it. Krishnan all alone.
It was 2 open.
Here's Clark racing. Clark finds it. Count it. He finishes with the left. A little roll. And Raekwon Clark is going to the line with a chance to make it a 5-point game, or a 4-point game. Beg your pardon.
That was a good call there from the officials, too. They've really done, for the most part, a great job tonight, Greg. That time, Newkirk is backpedaling while he's still moving, and then he tries to take a charge. That is a blocking foul and a good call there.
Raekwon using his inside moves, going to his left hand and spinning it home. He's got a shot at his second straight game with at least 20. And it's the 37th of his career.
Central Connecticut has done a great job all night of getting a basket when they need it. They need one here.
Clark nearly got beat on defense. Newkirk to the offensive rebound. After the initial miss from Ayungma, he's out there with 4 fouls.
This is your senior right now. It was Coleman dictating the offense.
Cotton on Newkirk. Blue Devils running out of time. They get it off, and it nearly banked home for Newkirk. Batts taps it. What a find! Cotton going to the line after a heads-up pass from Julian Batts.
Woo! This game has not lacked the energy or the intensity for one bit tonight here, Greg.
It's been wild since the opening tip. Neither team's led by more than 8. And it's Julian Batts with his first 20-point game of the season, he and Clark. Talking things out in the backcourt. They both have 20. Rashawn Cotton has played a more noticeable game when he's been on the floor. 8 points in 25 minutes. And how about the Blue Devils with 4 of their youngins in double figures? Ayungma out there with 4 fouls. He's been stuck on 13 with no points here in the second. Cotton and Jackson out on the outside. 5 minutes left here in Brooklyn. Rowe bounces inside. Ayungma to the cup.
It's a shame he got in foul trouble early on because he was such a presence in the first half. They need him to keep getting looks on the offensive end. The only problem is he is a target on defense. At least he should be.
Just a question of which hot hand you want to get it to. Cotton plants. And Ayungma fights off Coleman for the rebound. Reed with the step back, nearly went down. Ayungma tries it again. Third time, tapped around. Blue Devils ball with about 4 minutes left.
That is just pure heart and hustle that time from both sides.
Again, the Sharks giving up 8 offensive rebounds to the Blue Devils. Wide open, Krishnan again.
The last guy they could afford to leave open. They just broke down after such a long possession.
He's got 14. And that is a huge second chance opportunity that the Blue Devils capitalize on. Clark. That's one dribble. No good. 5 straight points for the Blue Devils. They have not led since there were 14 and a half minutes left in the first. Second chance won't go for Coleman. Cotton trailing, Cotton and one. Krishnan picks up the foul, and Vershawn Cotton scores one of the biggest buckets of his season. A chance at 3 with 3 minutes left after the final media timeout. Against LIU. And the timeouts, 2 for Derek Kellogg and 3 for Danielle Marshall. The Sharks have 21 fast break points, only 8 for the Blue Devils. But with under 3 minutes to play, and the team's separated by 4, the 10 players out there need to stay composed.
They just need to keep playing balanced, selfless offense.
Youngma out there with 4. Finds Rowe for 3. That was way too strong.
Maybe the adrenaline took over there. Wanted to make that big shot, but that was only his second take from deep on the night.
Team leading 7th rebound for Ty Flowers. That's found Clark. And that is number 5 on Ayungma. He knew he was guilty right away. And after their best free throw shooting performance on Saturday, the Sharks have big ones coming here in the final 2+.
Yeah, this is about just being able to close this game out now. If they're LIU, I like your chances to be up by 5 or 6 here after these free throws.
Stefan Ayungma fouls out with 15 points on 7 of 9 shooting in just 17 minutes. His previous high was 15. That was against New Hampshire on November 19th. But the Blue Devils will lose their first player of the night. And Clark has a big trip. Blue Devils don't need a 3 here, but they might be pressed to look for one. So far in the second half, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Rowe kicks it. Coleman launches it. And a couple of big misses down the stretch. Another foul. This one sends Ty Flowers to the line after he knifed through a double team for the rebound. And this is where Danielle Marshall looks up at the clock. 1:59 to go, and he thinks, we did a lot, but it might not be enough.
Yeah, and again, you know, for the morale of this team, that's going to be great, but I'm sure none of them are going to be happy about any result other than a win tonight. That being said, they still have a decent amount of time, and you're probably going to have to hit a couple threes, but you can get this right back to a 2-possession game here if they can hit a triple on their next possession, and then you go by possession. You can't look too far ahead. You got to keep the game in front of you here if you're the Blue Devils. They haven't given up hope all night. I don't think they're going to start now.
And the Sharks don't have to go back very far to think of the last few minutes of the Delaware game when it looked like they had it locked up and needed overtime to win. The way Central's played tonight, you can't count them out, but the Sharks have gone on a very timely 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes.
Don't have a lot of time to waste, though.
No, they don't. Rowe's been out there for a good chunk of this second half. outside the range, and that's a forced one. Cotton skies to the rebound after Wilson missed another three.
If you're LIU, you probably could put the game away here with a score.
The clock can go down to about 1:08. The Sharks, to their credit, have been patient all night. They've turned it over just 8 times and have gotten the shots they've been looking for. As Pat said, one more might do it, but they're coming close. It's Cotton. One pass to Flowers. He got it! Holy cow! Ty Flowers down and out.
And it is looking like a loss for the Blue Devils. They know now that they can hang with, if they can hang with the #1 preseason pick in the conference on the road, they can hang with anybody.
Krishnan out there, a sophomore, along with 2 freshmen. But think about how this weighs on the minds of the seniors out there, Tyler Rowe and Jamir Coleman. That was Reed off the mark. They're saying it's white basketball. So the Sharks inbound the length of the floor. I think one more foul might be coming from the Blue Devils, and then after that, Danielle will call off the Dogs.
Yeah, probably.
Raekwon's already sitting out. Back-to-back games with at least 20. He's up to 22. Bats with 20. And Jermaine Jackson going to the line for a pair. But like you said in the beginning, this really is the challenge for Danielle Marshall to take this group of 7 freshmen and 4 sophomores and to develop it and nurture it so that maybe a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, this group can be in the upper echelon of the NEC. I think based on the performance here tonight, like you said, there are some really good pieces in this very young group.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You know, for these young kids in double figures, Coleman with 15, Youngma, what a breakout offensive performance with 15. We know what Krishnan can do, 14 tonight, and then Reed with 11. You know, they keep getting production like that. Again, they're going to be able to win some games in this conference this year. I think that's obvious. I do like this, though, Greg. You know, this is a learning process.
Yep.
A lot of, people watching these games can say, well, what's the point? It's a 13-point game with 52 seconds. No, this is good
minutes, because with under 4 minutes left, this was just a 1-point game, and yet they never allowed the Blue Devils to take the lead here in the second half.
No, and that's a great job from LIU of holding on whenever they needed to. And although Central Connecticut put together a good bid, all in all, the Sharks stood tall.
Rowe out of the timeout, plants a 2. And Flowers had it taken away. One more for Rowe. Coleman, they'll give him the 2. But the Blue Devils, we get another foul, this one on Tyler Rowe, who scored more than 1,100 points during his time at Western Connecticut State and Connecticut College. This will be the 11th time this season that the Blue Devils, who are about to fall to 1-15, will have allowed more than 75 points in a game. The Sharks, who came in leading the NEC with 79 points per game on offense, have a chance at 90, with one more free throw coming from Jermaine Jackson.
And we know how talented this team is on offense. The question going forward for this Sharks team all year is going to be, can they get stops when they need them? Now, they didn't get a lot tonight, but they got them down the stretch. That's all that counts.
A little more than 54% tonight for the Sharks. That's where they finished up against Centenary. Wilson. And Jackson takes it. Jackson doesn't giveth away. And the Sharks do score 90. They wound up beating the Blue Devils by a dozen. And like Pat and I talked about, LIU needed a comfortable win, and they got one here tonight. It took some time to get there, but the final seconds roll off, And the Sharks win their 4th in a row against the Blue Devils. LIU now 1-1 in the NEC. The Blue Devils 0-3, but this is more of what we expected from the preseason number 1. And while it took some time tonight, I'd say 40 minutes straight on through, as good as we've seen from the Sharks all year.
And not to call you out a little bit, you said it was comfortable. I mean, it was very uncomfortable up until those final minutes. But, you're right, all in all, they never played from behind. And, great job of closing out. It's certainly going to be a lot tougher when you're playing